ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಡೇ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಗಿ FKCCI ಫೆಡರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಚೇಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯನ್ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಉತ್ತಮ ಭಾಷಣವನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಬನ್ನಿ ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಅವರ ಮಾತಿಗೆ ನಾವೀಗ ಕಿವಿಯಾಗೋಣ.
Of the birthday of Sri Vishwesharaya, I call now the Founders Day celebration of your Federation of the Karnataka Chambers of Commerce and Industry. And nationally today is called the Engineers Day. But Vishwesharaya was much more than an engineer. He was a visionary. I would say that he was a person who foresaw how India could become a developed country so far back in time when we were so dividend that we didn't even think we could run a country, much less make it into a world developed country. I think those who want to know more about Sri Vishwesharaya, you should read two of the books which have been brought, which is available in Amazon, and you can Google it also. One is titled Nation Building, and the other is titled Reconstructing India, Reconstruction of India. Now, in both these books put together, what Sri Vishwesharaya says is, you need a mindset different from what you have today. For instance, the example given of the waterfalls, just water falling, but that same fall can be converted into generation for electricity. That's called mindset. Let us remember that if you have 1,000 goats but one tiger, the goats will run, not the tiger. Numbers don't matter. What matters is the mindset. The fear in the goat makes it run away. The same way, strength is not by itself enough unless there's a backing of the mindset. In a circus, you'll have 5 strong, well-fed lions and one thin ringmaster will walk into the pen where these lions are there, and then he'll order them to stand up, get up on the table. They will obey and get up on the table. He will order them to open their mouths. They'll open their mouth and he'll put his head in each one of them, and the spectators in the circus will clap. But one must think why these lions don't cut him to pieces. They have the strength, they have the teeth, but they don't because their mindset has been prepared from childhood from pup status to obey. And that's why they obey when he gives the order and don't eat him up or cut him up. This we see in human beings also. I know of a country in which the Prime Minister was so scared of a thin, wiry woman that despite sitting on the most powerful chair of the Prime Ministership, he would obey this foreign lady. Why? Because that is the way he was built. From childhood he was brought up to obey. Indians must get out of that mindset. That is what Vishwesharaya said. And that is a visionary thought. Today we can get out of that mindset if we willingly work towards it, which means you must prepare your children to think in dynamic terms. You can do it. Most of our people are like Hanuman. They don't know their own strength. Somebody has to tell them, you have the strength to do it. Our country, there is no shortage of anything. Vishwesharaya wanted our country to become a powerful economic power. What is it that we lack? We have land in which you can grow agricultural crops all 12 months of the year. 3 seasons can be easily done. Many countries of the world, particularly large countries, don't have this blessing of Mother Nature. United States has 5 months of the year snowfall, no agriculture. Europe, the same thing. 3/4 of China, the same thing. But in India, you can grow crops all 3 years. And yet, we use only 25% of the land to grow more than one crop, instead of 100% of the land for growing 3 crops. This is the misuse of potential. And our agriculture is the cheapest in the world in terms of price of products. Rice is 1/6 the price of Japan, of rice produced in Japan. Milk is 1/6 what is sold in Europe. And we've got 150 million cows, but they are not properly fed. So they give only 200 liters per year. One Israeli cow gives you 11,000 liters per year. Imagine what will happen to this country if 150 million cows start giving the Israeli average of 11,000 liters. I will have to come to this function swimming in milk. India is a land of potential. And you have to believe that. We have been taught to feel diffident. We have an inferiority complex about the West, about foreigners. We think we can't do it. But this country, and especially this state, we have shown to the world what nobody else could do. Islam conquered Persia when the Zoroastrians were ruling. In 15 years, they converted the whole of Persia, which is now called Iran, into 100% Islam or 100% Muslim. Mesopotamia and Babylon, which is now called Iraq, in 17 years became 100% Islam. Egypt in 21 years. Europe in 50 years became Christian. But this country, 600 years of Islamic rule and 200 years of the British rule, which was Christian rule, still you are 82% of the population. Because of what you are not taught in our history. Vijayanagaram, this empire founded here. In what? Near Bijapur, Hampi, Hastinapur. And that ruled for 300 years. Went right to the borders of Bengal. But there is no mention in our history books about it. Maybe one paragraph. But Mughal dynasty was 150 years, from Akbar to Aurangzeb. And your history books has one chapter for each Mughal ruler. 6 times. Didn't let them cross into Burma. Nobody even knows there's something called Ahom dynasty is there in Assam. The valor of Shivaji, of Guru Gobind Singh, of Rana Pratap, Rani Jhansi, Rani Chennamma. I don't know how many people in Karnataka know Rani Chennamma. You know Hema Malini, but you don't know Chennamma. Kakaboban in Tamil Nadu. This is the perception that needs to be done. And that has to be done by teaching of history. And the whole world, intellectuals are opposing it. Because what has kept down India was the inferiority complex we have. The young people of India today are demonstrating all over the world. Why so many foreigners are coming to Bangalore? Because what you have done in software, of course you haven't invented anything, but you have efficiently produced the software which was conceptualized in the West. We now need to think in terms of our own innovation. Recently I was in Tamil Nadu when your agitation on Kaveri was going on, and the press people asked me, what is your stand on Kaveri? Now I am being a Tamilian, if I say Karnataka is justified, then I'll be murdered there. But if I say that there is enough water in Karnataka and they are not giving it to us, that won't be true. So first question I asked the press people, do Tamilians want water or they want Kaveri water? If you want water, desalinate seawater. This country, in many places today, we are producing drinking water by desalination. Kalpakam nuclear reactor establishment in the coast of Tamil Nadu. They were denied water by the municipality. So they set up a desalination plant, and today the only place in Tamil Nadu where you get 24 hours of clean, pure water is in the colony of the Kalpakam, where they use desalination of seawater. The same thing in Jamnagar. The Reliance has a polyester factory or plastic factory. The municipality said we would not be able to give you water for your industrial production. They set up a desalination plant, and today the municipality of Jamnagar is buying from the Reliance industry. There is no shortage of water. Desalination, I'm sure Dr. Shetty would tell us, he would tell us that what they are doing in Dubai, it's all only sand there earlier on. Today it's all green. It's all by desalination of seawater. Saudi Arabia, seawater. Israel, seawater. Desalination. They don't have rivers. We have plenty of rivers, but we are quarreling about it. So this mindset change is what Vishweshwaraya wanted all of us. Take risk. When I was a professor at Harvard, I used to ask students of my class after they graduated, what kind of career would you select? Would you like to be like Bill Gates, take risk and make billions of dollars? Of course, there's a danger you may lose all your money and fall flat. Or would you like a job with your increment every year of 5%, gratuity, pension, and at the age of 65 retire and buy a house and watch television? So the students in America used to ask me, what is the probability I will end up like Bill Gates? But the Indian students in my class would say, no, we want the second job of regular pay rise, steady employment. So I asked them, why? This is guaranteed poverty. Why you want this line? And they said, but it is guaranteed. That is why it's this Indian craze for stability, afraid of taking risk. That has to go. You cannot innovate anything in this country unless you take risk. Needs an attitude change. And that is what Vishweshwaraya showed to us at a time you cannot even imagine. He died in April 1962 at the age of 101, I think. Imagine he said this in 1916. What were we there? We were a colony. We were welcoming King George V and falling at his feet. That time he said this. And that is what you have to learn. We have to learn, we have now 75% of population below the age, 75% of population below the age of 35. The youngest population in the world, average age of Indians is today 26. What is the average age of the Chinese? 35. What's the average age of Americans? 37. Europeans, 46. Japanese, 50. They are aging population. But innovations will only come from young people who will then do their research and development provided they are encouraged. So with this kind of potential, we have to move forward. And we must recognize that this potential is equal between men and women. Gender equality is now the 21st century need. We have to pool our resources. In fact, that's the culture of this country, the religion of this country. I once had an argument with somebody and I said, see, in Brahma's cabinet, all the important portfolios are held by women. He said, how? I said, defense is with Durga, finance is with Lakshmi, education is Saraswati. And the men have got nothing. Or perhaps information broadcasting with Narad Muni. One Draupadi could launch a Mahabharat war. Sita, if she had not spurned Hanuman's offer to sit on his back and fly away, Ravan would not have been killed. Women throughout our histories have played an equal role, not in physical strength, but in terms of intellectual contribution. And we are not using that strength. So therefore, on this day, resolve that if you can't, you will bring up your children to be fearless, speak out their mind, and try anything that is necessary. Just now, when the Honorable, the person we have honored today, the great Indian from Dubai, or rather Abu Dhabi, he said that Jog Falls can easily be developed into a tourist center. And he then looked at our great minister here, good friend of mine, and said he can get an airport. And you know what he said to me? Please help me topple this government and I will get it. So far I have toppled 3 governments, so I have some practice. So, India was once upon a time the most developed country in the world. And now the goal of every Indian, if you are a follower of Vishwesvaraya, you will be thinking in terms of how I can make this country great again. Thank you very much.
For more programs, kindly subscribe Sakka Suddhi on YouTube channel.